Hi. So today I'm going to share with you a video that it's taken me around 18 years to make. I'm not so techie. I spend most of my time surrounded by trees and rivers and nature. So I've not managed to set up websites or anything like this. And it's taken me a while to do this because I wanted to make a Dreamcatcher, and also being a mum, I don't have so much time to do things that I want to do. But I finally got there. And this Dreamcatcher that you can see up in the far corner is what I call the Toroidal Universe. And I'm going to share with you things that I've come to understand. Well, I came to understand them a long time ago, but since the 20 years that I've had this in my being, nothing that I've come across, no new information has proved it wrong, which has encouraged me even more to share this with you. So it's primarily the shape of the universe. It's primarily the nature of the universe and all of existence. We're told in school that there was a Big Bang, and this Big Bang happened and everything spreads out, and one day it will start to come back in. So it's kind of okay, it's kind of true, but the Big Bang wasn't a singular event, it's a continual event. It's continuously happening. And there aren't many universes, there's just one. And if we could see it energetically, it would look like this. So you can see, if you look closely, two little black things coming down here and another one up here. Now if you imagine the Big Bang, this would be the middle bit. What if I was to say to you that black holes play a large part in this? And the way I arrived at this understanding was I was sitting up late one night. I had jet lag from returning from a trip to Nepal, and I was watching Stephen Hawking's recording, and it was his latest understandings, his latest, everything he'd understood. And he was talking about black holes, and he was saying that black holes, they've discovered that coming out of them are these things called gravity waves. And he talked about gravity waves for quite some time. And as he was talking about them, my heart was speeding up because I knew what they were. And when he said, you know, we think they might be from another black hole inside the black hole spinning around, sending this out, I kind of laughed. And if I were to tell you that what the gravity wave was the backdraft from the Big Bang. So what do I mean by that? If I were to say to you, now you can take this as myth or you can take this as science. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a quantum physicist, I'm a mum. But I am an inner explorer. I've spent most of my life delving deeply into the questions of existence and life and meaning. Why are we here? What's it all about? As many of us do. So if I were to say to you that a black hole comes like this, and another black hole comes like this, and imagine the force of two black holes, boom, coming together. So this is what we have here. We have one black hole, another black hole, impact, and all of existence. So the spiral galaxies that we see, this would be on this plane. The spiral galaxies coming and echoing outwards from the impact of these two Big Bangs. Sorry, excuse the noise. So two black holes impact and galaxies appear. So this impact didn't happen once, it's a continual event. The universe is a self-recycling system. So this is one entire universe, and every other universe in existence is just this repeated. So when we look out into the universe and we see many spiral galaxies in all different shapes, representations, sizes, they're just this same thing over and over and over again. And it's macrocosm, microcosm. So this same form gets smaller and smaller. It's in the very atom, every single atom of our being, of all nature, of everything. So it's the universe, and it's also the smallest particle of existence. They're all the same. You could say that your body is made up of trillions of these continuously spinning and consuming. So the universe consumes. It radiates, and it radiates light. And the universe exists by consuming its own radiance. Okay? If you imagine a light only goes so far before it loses its, well, a torch anyway, or this, even the sunlight travels infinitely, but we only see it radiating out for so far. So we've got the Big Bang in the middle, and on a conscious level, you could say this is the formless realm. In Tibetan Buddhism, they call it the Dharmakaya, the non-dual. There is no duality. The first moment of the Big Bang, there is just light. There is just God, pure awareness. No duality, nothing to perceive, no one to perceive it. There's no duality. And I'll also bring in another element of it. So you have life exploding out. It's like birth. Birth comes, and then it's absolutely radiant, and slowly it gets older, it begins to slow down, it begins to decay even before it dies, and then it dies and it decays. And life feeds on life. So look at nature, look at compost. You have something, it rots, it consumes, all the rest of life consumes it. So life creates life and feeds on life. Life and death, they work together. You can't separate life and death. And I know our culture is quite scared of death, but it's only because it's denied an entire subtle level of reality. It's almost in denial of anything more than the physical world. But unfortunately, the physical world is only existent in this orange spectrum, orange and red spectrum. And beyond that, it gets sucked back into compression and density, and it goes back down. And then back into life again. So in this model, you have physical existence travelling from the light to death, from the light to the darkness. But you have consciousness travelling from darkness to light. And this is what creates the very fabric of reality. So you have life and the forces of life, not physical, but life existence, travelling one way. And then you have the force of consciousness travelling the other way. And this meeting point of these two energies are what create the fabric of reality. And as I was saying, if I make my other picture a wee bit bigger, not now, anyway. So we have the different realms of existence. And again, I'll refer to Tibetan Buddhism because it has the three main realms of existence. You've got the Dharmakaya, which is the formless, the clear light mind. Then you have the Sambhogakaya, which is the realm of energy, or Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, divine beings, angels. And this would be the green, yellow realms. This is before light turns into matter. It's still aware, and it starts to take forms in this part, in the green and yellow spectrum. But it only slows down and starts to lose its energy enough and becomes dense enough. See, it's a travel from absolute light into density. So it only becomes dense enough to create matter and existence in the orange and red spectrum. And this is where we are. And you could say this is why in the earth realm, life, look at Earth. We've got enlightened beings teaching us the path to enlightenment. And we've also got really unpleasant people that are stuck in gnarly, egotistical, greedy, wounded spaces. And the reason for this is because it's of a place of equal pull. The dark is sucking. The physical pull of the black hole, of the death and decay, is pulling the physical matter into its death and decay. But you've got the light is also pulling consciousness towards itself. And that's why, if you believe in reincarnation, and whether I do or not, I'm not sure. I used to be, but I'm not anymore. This is why, if reincarnation is a thing, beings can get stuck here for eons. Eons and eons and eons, because the pull is so strong. We can go backwards and forwards. We can get quite far. We can enlighten. We can wake up, or not enlighten, but we can wake up and start to become aware. And then trauma can strike, and we can close back down again. And if we die in a closed down, angry, negative place, perhaps rebirth takes place from that vibration. If we die in a space of love, of joy, of happiness, then the next incarnation continues with that essence. And also the essence of what we create through our life. But that's another story. So this is where we exist. And as incarnation or consciousness awakens, it takes forms in lighter and lighter and lighter forms until it enters the non-dual, until it enters nirvana, enlightenment, God, whichever. So you could say the heavenly realms are within these realms. The realms of the angels, the realms of the Buddhas are in these realms. And perhaps it could be that the realm of machine consciousness is what takes place as life evolves on a technological level. Perhaps the machine life, or the idea of artificial intelligence, machine intelligence, is still another vehicle for consciousness, trying to get beyond the duality of good and bad, right and wrong. There is only life. You could say that death is wrong, but this is a very human perspective. So it could be that machine intelligence is the physical form that starts to get taken as things move into this physical realm, as it travels away. And as consciousness travels towards the light, it takes a lighter form, it takes a light body form or a Buddha form. But I don't want to go off topic too much, because there are many other aspects to this. So the basis of it is you have the duality of consumption and death and density, and then you have the explosion and the birth of existence and of life. And the two need each other. All of life is conscious. You could say that plants aren't conscious, trees aren't conscious, but as science starts to go further into all these things, we're realizing that all life has life. Whether life is conscious or not, how we want to describe that is very, it's difficult for science to do this because we come from a human perspective. So the other aspect of this is we can only measure existence from this point. We can't measure existence from this point because our physical existence, our physical world, doesn't exist here. Not yet. It exists in this frequency. So as the Big Bang takes place, so boom, impact, life. And as existence takes place, we're riding the wave of one apparent Big Bang. So although the Big Bang is continuously happening, and this is a continual event, and life is continuously sending life out, we as the human realm, the Earth realm, we're riding the wave of one moment of that Big Bang. And our existence, our universe, our solar system is travelling on one wave. And we can only study, we can only view from here whilst we're in our physical forms. You could say that once you enter into other realms, once you expand your consciousness, you alter your consciousness, you are free to travel into other areas of this. People that have explored with psychedelics have experiences of going to many different realms, some of them unpleasant, some of them beautiful. And what takes place when DMT is released, or psilocybin is released into our conscious, our pineal gland, is that our consciousness is almost set free from this restriction, this single point, and it's tripped, it's thrown into various different points. I know I've had journeys where I've gone through round and round and round into the dark, into the black hole, into the death and decay, and as that's taken place, it gets darker and darker and darker, and then it gets so dark and so black that it shines and light arises, and then one is born again, one is brought back out into life. We could say, I don't know, this is just a guess, but the light at the end of the tunnel could literally be travelling down through the black hole, and at the end of the black hole we see the light of creation as we get spat back out into existence. And where we fall, where we land, if reincarnation is true, depends upon the vibration. In Tibetan Buddhism they talk about the innermost essence that's held within the heart, and this stores all information and all vibration. So if your life, you spend your life aspiring and doing your best to generate positivity, generate life positive experiences and sharing with other people, if you live from a more of a unified perspective, and your life has a more positive, if you focus on love, if you generate positive, loving experiences in your life, or more life affirming things in your life, then when you die, that is what your innermost essence has imprinted on it. But if we spend our life in resentment and anger and greed and lack and more, this also imprints on our innermost essence. And it could be that when we die and we shed our ego, we shed our physical form, our personality, and all that comes with it. It's these vibrational frequencies as life breathes out into the non-dual for a period of time, maybe. Period of time, there's no time. For a moment, one is in union with God, with the essence of life, with the nature of life. But then, again, as life breathes back in, it brings you back out and drops you wherever your evolution is, wherever your point of your next vibratory connection could be. So I'm not a believer in the more romantic views of we choose our incarnation, we choose our parents, we choose what we come here to deal with, we choose our purpose. I don't think it's as human as that. I don't think it's we choose. There is no I. Once death takes place, there is no I to choose, but there is momentum, karmic momentum, vibrational momentum, perhaps. And the other thing with this shape, I had this understanding for some years. I saw this shape. It wasn't like this. This is a Dreamcatcher, obviously. It's a representation. But I had this, I saw it from many different ways. I saw it from experiencing different points of it. I saw it from travelling in and out of it. I saw it once upon a time from a distance, or on a few occasions from different perspectives. And one day, when I used to live on a piece of land, and I was into Dreamcatchers at the time, and I just thought, I wonder what would happen if I made a Dreamcatcher using this as the outer ring and make 4 of them. So I started to do this. And as I got halfway, I then thought, wow, wait a minute, what happens if I start making the next circle inside? And when I finished it, I had this. And I looked at it and I thought, wow, that's what I've been shown. This is what I've been being taught about. And it kind of blew me away. And up in the corner of the screen, you can see another one that I made back when I was living in Nepal for a friend. And this it's a nicer one, I have to say. It takes a little while to make. But yeah. So that's pretty much, I think, all I need to share with you. I could go on. There are so many, many more aspects of it, but the main points are the 2 black holes impacting the explosion of existence, Big Bang, continually happening, not just once, continuously happening. And as the light and the radiance of existence, all of existence, slowly becomes more dense and slows down, it becomes denser and denser as it slowly gets pulled back in to the black holes that are at the top and the bottom, if we were to say such a thing, of the universe. And it's a continually self-radiant, it's a radiant, it consumes its own radiance. It's a recycling system. It never ends. There's no beginning, there's no end. There was no beginning there. It will never be an end. It's an ever-present moment of existence. And we as consciousnesses are continuously being present in this moment. And one other thing is, within this universe, we have all of existence. We have every possible thing that could ever happen, from the most beautiful to the most hideous. And in every moment, with all the millions upon billions of universes and existences that are contained within this, it has every single possible every single possible experience that could ever happen, happening in every moment, with an infinite number of conscious lives experiencing them. So there will always be hell, there will always be heaven. and all the myriad of consciousnesses that are birthed from the one mind of God are spread throughout this entire thing, because without that there would be nothing. You can't have the day without the night. You can't have life without death. You can't have existence without non-existence. So the duality is a unity. It's a one thing. God and the devil are working in unison, you could say. Forgive me, Christians, I don't mean to offend anybody with these concepts, but life is, existence is a duality, but within existence you have the non-dual. This is in the centre of all of our life. It's in the centre of every single atom of our body. It's in our heart. We have this torus field energetically around our body. We have a torus field around our heart. If they looked closer, they'd probably see that we have one around every single cell in our body. You would probably find one within every atom of our body. If you saw your body in its energetic form, it would be made of trillions of these, spinning continuously radiant and consuming its radiance. So this is why something like breatharian could well be and is possible and real, because life doesn't need anything, actually. Energy does. Free energy, in a way, could be true. And also within this shape, you see many things. If you cut an apple in half, you kind of have this shape. And apples do tend to crop up quite often in our myths. And also the Tibetan Vajra. I don't know if you can see it, but the Tibetan Vajra is also this shape. And in the Tibetan Buddhist teachings, the Vajra is the symbol of existence. It's the thunderbolt. You have the Dharmakaya in the middle. And from the essence of existence, its nature is to arise. And it arises as the four elements. So we have the four directions, the four elements arising in existence. And I've never quite found out what this middle piece is, but I would get the feeling it's the two black holes coming back together. Well, that's my take on it anyway. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and yeah, if you like what you hear, feel free to leave comments, feel free to ask questions, and I'll be happy to try and respond to them when I have the time. Okay, thank you. Peace be with you.